What's going on, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun752, and this is the Daily Go Getimism show on the late night, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, but not all the way 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:50 a.m. And we're going to do this like it's 1:50 p.m. We're going to do it like it's time to do that thing. Tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show on this Power Monday, the 19th of February. I know right now, right now, it's the 20th, but we doing this for the 19th because this is the first opportunity that we had to do it. So let's go ahead and get it done. We are talking about what you do when you find out that you weren't the first choice. That when you weren't the first choice, it's not easy. It's not always easy to put your ego in check. It's not always easy to deal with the fact that you weren't the number one person, pick, entity, team. You weren't always the number one choice that everybody wanted. Sometimes you have to take what you can get. Sometimes you have to concentrate on the big picture, and the big picture has more to do with the fact that you got chosen at all. Sometimes that's what we have to deal with. And we're not always equipped to deal with it. We're not always ready to deal with the reality that life slaps us in the face with sometimes. But we're going to talk about that tonight. Should you find out that you weren't the first choice? Should you find out that you weren't the first choice? Is your ego in check? Is your ego in check? I mean, are you the type of person that has to always be number one, that has to stand out from the crowd, that has to be the one that everybody is rooting for, the one that everybody is pulling for, the one that everybody is cheering for? Does that have to be you? And there's nothing wrong with being that way if that's the way you feel. But in life, we don't always get to be able to pick our number. Of course, we would always be at the front of the line if we had a chance to be in the front of the line. Of course, we would always be at the perfect spot at a concert if we were able to. And I don't know if the perfect spot at a concert is right there in the front row. I don't know. If it is the front row, if it is the front row, if we had our choice, our shot, our chance, our opportunity, we would make sure that we were right there in the front row, being able to see everything and being able to be seeing ourselves, increasing our chances of actually, not only having experience of seeing the show, but maybe even being a part of the show. That's what we would do if we could choose for ourselves, but we don't always get a chance to choose for ourselves. We don't always get a chance to be able to pick ourselves. And sometimes we have to be chosen by others. Many times we have to be chosen by others. And sometimes we are the top choice. Sometimes we are the number one pick. Sometimes we are the one that somebody said, no, I want that guy, or I want that girl, or I want that team. Sometimes you are that good. And of course, that's a blessing. But it's not always that way. So what do you do when you find out, if you should find out, that you weren't the number one pick, that you weren't the favorite to win, that maybe there were other people that they wanted besides you, and for whatever reason, they weren't able to get those people that they really wanted, so they kind of settled for you? Can you deal with that? Now, in certain scenarios, you might be able to deal with it for real. Because let's say if you're just starting out in the area, and you're trying to build up your clout, build up your worth, build up your standing, and around a bunch of vets or experienced opponents that were way better than you. So just you being chosen is good enough. Now, when I first wrote up this show, I realized that everybody's going to think I'm talking about relationships. Like, how would you feel if you found out that as a man, you weren't your girlfriend's first choice? She only went out with you. She only kicked it with you. She only got with you because the man that she really wanted was unavailable or didn't want her. So she had to deal with her ego. So the man that she really wanted wasn't giving her no time, or didn't know that she was alive or around, or didn't really care. So she went with you. She couldn't get with the man that she really, really dug. So she went with you. You were showing interest. He wasn't showing interest. You were showing love. He wasn't looking her way. You were pressing. He wasn't. He didn't even seem to, remember her name or knew that she existed. He wasn't giving her no kind of time. So she went with you. Could you deal with the situation? Have you ever dealt with a situation like that? How would that make you feel? Would it make a difference? Would you just be happy to be chosen? I mean, if it's somebody that you really, really wanted, I mean, a lot of people, especially a lot of men, they like a challenge. Back in the day, we would always say that we didn't want the girls that were easy to get. We wanted the girls who were a little bit resistant. Now, I'm saying what other men said. I ain't never say that. I like it easy. I ain't gonna lie. I wish I was lying. No, I don't. I'm telling you, I feel like when two people are attracted to each other, they shouldn't make it hard for each other. Let's make it easy. And if it doesn't work out after we've made it easy for each other, then there's no excuse. There's no excuse. We can't say, well, we never really wanted each other anyway, or she didn't really want him, or he didn't really want her. But what about when you are chosen and they really didn't want you, but it turned out to be a good choice in the long run? Because that often happens. We aren't always number one, the number one choice, the favorite to win. We aren't always that shining star, that sensational rookie, that freshman of the year. We aren't always that person. So what do we do when it gets to the point where, we have to face the music that we weren't the first choice? Whether we knew it up front, or whether we knew it, or whether we found out about it later on through somebody telling us, or even our man or our woman telling us. Like, I mean, some people know that they weren't the first choice from the beginning. They may have been the one that they loved, or the one that they really wanted to get with might have been kicking it with somebody that they knew about. Like, yeah, she all, she all up on, let's call him Dave. Yeah, she liked Dave a lot. Always in Dave's face. Always around Dave. She'd do anything for Dave. I wish I was 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 Dave. Hey, yo, Dave don't even have to ever behave like somebody who was ever really trying to save his heart for somebody like her. But she likes him like she likes God. And I want to be with her, but I got to wait till Dave is finished with her. Well, she might have liked Dave, and you knew she liked Dave. Well, after Dave, played hard to get and brushed her off and treated her like a flea, or maybe even hit a few times and said, all right, man, get out of here, shorty. You know what I mean? You was just something to do. I wasn't really trying to. So that's when you got a chance. Like, you knew that she wasn't, that you weren't the number one choice. You knew it. But can you deal with it? You can't be mad at her if you knew who was her number one choice. Like, you knew. You waited your turn. And sometimes that's what we have to do. Not everybody recognizes our gifts. Not everybody recognizes our talents. Not everybody appreciates what we bring to the table. Not everyone believes in our abilities, our skills. Not everybody. Sometimes you have to audition. And sometimes you have to beat out other people who may have been farther up in the consideration line than you were. It happens all the time. Sometimes you got to beat out a vet. Sometimes you have to beat out somebody who's on scholarship. Look at sports. You don't always get a chance to to be the number one draft pick. There's only one number one. It's funny because in sports, the number 2 is like the number 1, but not the number 3. A lot of times the number 2 is valued because the number 1 got picked first. So they picked the number 1, so you went number 2. But your team might be happy as hell to have gotten you. Maybe the team that picked you you were their number 1 choice. But another team picked somebody else. And that somebody else might have been the same position that you were. Let's say you were a quarterback. So they chose a quarterback number 1 and they chose you number 2. That happened before. That happened with Donovan McNabb in 1999. That happened with Donovan McNabb in 1999. Donovan McNabb was chosen number 2. And let's see, who was chosen number 1 the year of that draft? The year of that draft, who was chosen number 1? I believe it was, let me see. To make a long story short, though, the one who was chosen number 1 didn't go on to have a great career in the NFL. And Donovan McNabb went to 5 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl, but he had a decent career. Arguably Hall of Fame. And I say arguably because I don't know, man. He's definitely not first ballot. That's not going to happen. Who was chosen number 1 the year when Donovan McNabb was chosen number 2?
According to Wikipedia,
Tim Couch.
McNabb was drafted in the first round as the 2nd overall pick by the Eagles, behind first pick Tim Couch in the 1999 NFL draft.
Yep. Tim Couch. I forgot his name. Tim Couch was chosen number 1. Donovan McNabb was chosen number 2. When he was chosen, hold on, there's more to it. When he was chosen number 2, he got booed at the draft by fans, angry Eagles fans, because they wanted to pick the running back, Ricky Williams. That's who they wanted. They wanted to pick Ricky. Yeah, his name was Ricky Williams. He was a running back. He got chosen ultimately for the New Orleans Saints. Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka basically sold the whole team out for Ricky Williams. Anyway, but Ricky Williams didn't get picked first either. So there was a lot going on. Tim Couch got picked number 1. I'm sure not every team wanted Tim Couch. Mike Ditka didn't want Tim Couch. The Eagles didn't want Tim Couch. Who did he get? I don't even remember who he got. Who Tim Couch went and played for. But he didn't do that well. And it's not always the way you start. It's the way you finish. Most of the time, it's not the way that you start at all. It's the way you finish. But it is good to get off to a good start. That's why I'm not going to say it's never the way you start. Sometimes you got, especially when you're not somebody's number 1 choice, then you might have to show and prove early. That's what Donovan McNabb had to do. So it doesn't, just because you weren't everybody's cup of tea, just because you weren't high on everybody else's draft list, it doesn't mean that you weren't as good of a value as everybody else. What's going on, Infinite Discernment? Thanks for coming on through. And Care Bear, it's really good to see you. And Isaac, thanks for coming on through. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you. Thanks, Infinite Discernment. She says, you always got them real hot topics. I appreciate that. But, think about it. Yeah. Yo, Infinite Discernment is a football fan. She said Ricky Weed drunk now. Exactly. They gave him all that money. Remember, Master P was his agent. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a real circus around that time. And he was a good running back, but he wasn't emotionally built to be in the NFL. He couldn't take it. He wasn't used to losing. And, fans start booing. Bottom line is, sometimes you're not the number one pick. So with your man or your woman, you might not be the number one pick. They may have liked somebody more than you. They may have noticed somebody more than you. They may have thought somebody was more attractive more than you. But maybe you wanted them more than they wanted you. And you wanted them enough to make sure that you hung in there. Like, yeah, you don't know how much a diamond in the rough I am, but I'm here. And when you ready, I'll be ready because I'm already ready. And I'm just ready for you to be ready. So when you get your shit together, I'm going to be here. And I'm going to show you that I should have been the number one pick. Some people, I don't know if y'all have ever dealt with somebody like this. Somebody's ego was so messed up that because they weren't the number one choice and they knew it, and when they finally got their chance to be with somebody, they got with them and quit them, broke up with them, or didn't treat them right just because, well, see, it was, yeah, you know what I mean? At first you were choosing and now you're being chosen. Silly shit, immature shit, childish shit, but it's real shit. And most things that are childish, most childish things are done by who? Adults. Am I lying? Most childish things are done by adults. You don't see adults running around the children being like, why are you acting childish? Because it would be kind of a stupid question. Like, when we talk about childish behavior, I'm sorry, y'all. I got beats in this stuff. And so it makes my mouth so red. Don't think that I'm bleeding. Yeah. Infinite Discernment says, depends what teams are looking for. The trade pick chances. So the motive is, yeah, that's right. You want to choose somebody that's good for your team. The same way we can't be mad at somebody like who is a love interest of ours because they didn't think that we were a good fit. They didn't think so. They didn't, there may have been something about us that, didn't gel with them. And maybe they thought it was somebody else was better for them. Whether it was looks, whether it was personality, whether it was something else that we couldn't control, like finances or okay. For example, you know how some dudes will judge a woman because she has multiple children by multiple men. Like she got 3 baby dads. She ain't nobody. Now this chick might be a 5-star body, face pretty as shit, naturally look the same at 4 a.m. as she does at 4 p.m. with no help. She might be something like that. But people will try to knock you down and judge the choices that you made. So what I'm saying is, the same way he might walk by or pass you up or not consider you to be high value because he's looking for a virgin. Or he's looking for somebody who don't have no baby dads. A lot of dudes. I'm surprised because it's, at our age. I should say at my age. I don't know whatever anybody else's age, but I'm 53 and I'll be 54 later on, in the year, August 12th. So make sure y'all come through. That's right, Leo, 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 Leo gang, Leo. The kings are here. The king. Anyway, yeah. A lot of men don't want to deal with a woman who has who has sometimes just one child, but multiple children by multiple baby dads. They think it's going to be nothing but drama. And there are some men, and there are some women who feel the same way about men. Like, he got 3 baby moms. I'm not. I'm good. I'll see ya. But that's your choice. So, but you might be missing out on an opportunity to get with somebody who may have made some poor choices or choices that you don't even know about. For example, I take the example of women who have a lot of children by a lot of different men. Now, I'm going to break this down, so I'm going to need y'all to make sure that you pay attention. Pay attention to how a woman could have 4 baby fathers, 4 kids, 4 baby fathers, 5 kids, 4 baby fathers, 5 baby fathers. It happens because she might have had one when she was really young. So let's say she had a baby when she was 14 or 15 years old, somewhere between 14 and 17 years old. Now, the likelihood that you're going to stay with somebody when you have a baby that young is low, especially if they're around your age, and they should be, because anything else is kind of incestuous. It's a little pedophilic. Let's just keep it. Anyway, let's say you have your first child, teenage pregnancy. You slipped up, was being fast. You was being fast and got a baby in that ass. The front ass. Anyway, so you had a baby at 15, 16 years old. All right. So that's a throwaway baby dad, because y'all might try to kick it, high school sweetheart, some shit like that, but y'all ain't gonna be together no long time. Now, don't get me wrong. I've known some people who were teenage parents and they stayed together for years and years. But let's talk about the exceptions to the rules do exist. But for the most part, let's talk about how we can get to 5 baby dads with 5 kids. All right. So you had your first child when you was like 15. You could fuck around and have your second child when you like 18, 19. Sure could. And that might be by somebody that you thought you was in love when you was pregnant at 14 or 15. Now you 18, 19, then you got a 3-year-old, 3 or 4-year-old, in tow. You know what I'm saying? You might meet a dude who really likes you. You still got your young body or whatever. That one baby ain't gonna mess up nothing. Ain't mess up nothing. Especially we talking about, back in the day when chicks wasn't as big. We ain't have as much high fructose corn syrup and all of this GMO and So, things sprung back into shape. Anyway, you're still young. You got 2 kids. You might have a second kid by that dude. You might. So you had 2 kids. Now here you are, 21, 23, 21, 22, 23. You got 3 kids. You might have like a 5 to 7-year-old. And you got like a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, or a 3-year-old, or some shit like that. Anyway, you got 3 kids. You got 2 baby dads. You got 3 kids. All right. Let's say, all right, things were going really good with you and that second baby father, but maybe things didn't work out in the long run. So now you got 2 by him. He helped take care of your first one. Y'all was on your way to becoming a family, but y'all broke up. Maybe he did something. Maybe he cheated. Blah 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 blah. All right. You're still young. 3 kids, but you ain't but 20. You under 25 years old. You still a young thing. Still popping in these streets. And you taking care of kids. You ain't in the club. You ain't getting high. You doing what you got to do. Maybe trying to go to school, trying to improve your life, trying to give your kids the best chances possible, trying to work things out with the baby fathers, to make sure that they handling their business and all of that kind of stuff. You're still young. You're still young. All right. Somewhere between 25 and 30, guess what? Dude comes along, he want to marry you. You know what? Let's not even get to the marriage joint yet. Let's not get to the marriage. You ain't married yet. But y'all got hot and heavy. Hot and heavy. 4-year relationship, 5-year relationship. He see your 3 kids. He want one by you too. He might have 2 or 3. Anyway, boom. He dropped the seed in you. You know what I'm saying? All right, now you got 4. 3 baby daddies and 3 baby daddies got 4 little children, 4 little blessings. What is this mess? And I don't know. And she got 4 kids, 3 baby dads. All right, let's go. All right, so here you are somewhere around 30 years old. You got 4 children, 3 baby dads. You never been a hoe. Even when you had the child when you was young, you wasn't no hoe. You wasn't fast. You was just hot and ass. Well, maybe you just succumbed to the pressure. He kept begging. Come on, babe. Come on. Come on. Let me just put the tip in. Let me touch it. Let me touch it. Come on. Ooh, let me touch it again. Come on. I promise. I'm gonna pull out. I promise. I'm not. I mean, you like the boy. All right. Somewhere between age 30 and 35. Somewhere between. I'm gonna say between age 30 and 50 and 40. You meet a man who thinks you are the world's best. I mean, now you got that 30-year-old body. You all thick, 4 kids in, thick. You got that. You got that. You got that. Yeah, your titties are what they gonna be. That ass. You done lost that skinny girl frame. People looking at you like, if I'm gonna do 4 kids, I'm gonna do this one. And that's the way the love of your life is feeling now. So you somewhere between 30 and 40, you meet a man that's ready to say, listen, I'll feed all 4 of them kids. I don't care if they baby dad is around. I need you. I'll marry you through a rock on the finger. Bam. Let's meet me at the altar in an all-white dress. We ain't getting no younger. It's time to do it. Let's get married. And you love him too. You get married to the boy. Y'all get married. And guess what? He need a kid from you. He don't care about this other 4. He need one of his own. A man gotta get his own. He gotta get his own. He gotta get a teammate on the team. Now I need my own. You know what I'm saying? I'm surrounded by. It's 5 against 1. You gonna have a baby for him. You might have a baby for him. That's your 5th baby, and now you getting your tubes tied. Like, nah, I'm good. Now you got 4 kids, 5 kids, 4 baby dads. You ain't never been a hoe. You was just loving and searching. It happens. Anyway, some man might not pick you because you had 3 kids, and you have 4 kids, you have 5 kids. Now something tragic could have happened to the love of your life who threw the rock on your hands. Something tragic could have happened. Car accident, bad car accident, freak accident at work, whatever. Took him out of here. Tragic. You know how it is. you know, I'm gonna say this, man, and I'm gonna mean it, but I don't mean I don't mean to say nothing bad about it. A lot of times when women have multiple baby fathers, they be losing one. Maybe it's just me and the people I know, but from the ones I know, they be losing them. Infinite Discernment says, Leo, that's my uncle's birthday. Wow. My mom 10th grandmother, 19th. The Lions Den. They the real Leos too. None of that July shit. Yeah. Shout out to my July Leos. But it ain't real. They ain't really real. But anyway. But yeah. Anyway, you might not always be somebody's number one choice, but did you prove yourself to be more worthy or as worthy as anybody else? There have been, like, going back to sports, there have been plenty of diamonds in the rough that because they had some legal problems, behavioral problems, health problems, got pushed far back in the draft. And they was the ones who wound up being superstars, getting contract extensions, going on to Pro Bowls and All-Star games and Hall of Fame, that type shit. Walter Payton, arguably the greatest running back ever, came from a small school. He wasn't picked in the top 10, but look what he did. Look what he did. Look at his career. Rest in peace, Walter Payton. Now, sometimes the number one pick does kind of go on and do some crazy, great shit. Like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got picked over that damn Patrick Ewing, didn't he? He went before Patrick Ewing, didn't he? Aliyar, good day. I'm from Pakistan. Pakistan be coming through. What's up? Assalamu alaikum. Appreciate you coming through. I really do. But yeah, you might, just because you're not the number one pick, just because you're not somebody's first choice, it doesn't mean that you can't shine bright. It doesn't mean that, because you weren't picked first, that you'll end last or whatever. Other people are making the choices, just like you choose for other people. Have you ever chose something higher than something else and it not be successful, or you go back and what about the one that got away? Everybody has a story about the one that got away. And I'm not saying that you're lamenting over a romantic choice that you had in the palm of your hand and maybe you took it for granted or whatever. But they may not have been your first choice. You may have chose somebody else, and you realize later on, like, damn, I should have chose I should have went with the number 4. It was cheaper. It had a greater upside. I would have had this then. I would have had that then. And we don't really know if our future would have turned out as bright as what somebody else is doing solo. We don't know, but we do talk about those kinds of things. We do. We talk about them. So if somebody doesn't choose you first, try to work your way through it. Try to keep your concentration on the big picture. Concentrate on what you bring to the table. But most of all, make sure that whatever number that you were chosen, make sure that you even want to be chosen. But because you don't have to be with somebody just because they chose you. you can be chosen and still make a choice. It's a two-way street. Choosing is a two-way street. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do? I'm ready to do these birthday shout outs, but let me make sure I covered this topic the way I was supposed to cover the topic. You know, because we talk about you. I mean, look, how many of y'all have went to a kennel or the SPCA or chose a pet from a litter of animals? Dogs, cats, hamsters, I don't know, whatever. You know, let's say dogs and cats. You know, we usually try to pick the friendliest, cutest animal that we can find, but we don't always get a chance to do that, do we? You might go to wherever you go to buy a pet or choose a pet. You might say, "Oh yeah, I want that one." They might say, "No, you can't have that one because such and such already got dibs on it. They laid the animal away." The second choice might already be gone. So you might have chosen the last choice. That happened to me once. A cat had a bunch of kittens. And the last cat that was available was this little black cat. So this little cute black cat. And I was like, all right, well, it was between two. I don't even remember what the other cat looked like, but I was like, all right, well, give me the little black one. Chose the little black cat. It was a good choice. Rest in peace, Lovey. But Lovey lived 19 years. 19 years I was with that cat. That cat was with me. I got videos with, Lovey is in the video. It was a good choice, but she wasn't my first choice. She was not my first choice. Had there been a little orange cat or something like that, I probably would have chosen that. I didn't, I don't have any prejudices against black cats. But she was an awfully pretty black cat. There was something different about her. Not all black cats are cut from the same cloth. She was pretty. But nonetheless, she wasn't my first choice. But it worked out well. First choice didn't matter. It worked out well. And the way that things work out is more important than the process that it took to be chosen in the first place. So think about the NBA draft, the NFL draft. Think about how certain players get picked, get looked over, overlooked, and and are called steals later on in the draft when they finally get chosen. Sure, it affects their bottom line because they don't get paid as much because they weren't drafted high, but they wind up getting that money later on. And that's what matters. It's not how you start, it's the way you finish the process and what you went through. I can't diminish, I have to pay respect to what you went through and which one you was chosen. You do what you gotta do. Make sure you do it hard. Make sure you pray to God. Make sure you pull the card. Make sure that they understand and recognize that you are the best one and your eyes do not deceive nobody. You was the one they invited to the party. The Oscars, the Grammys, all the award shows. How many people are your favorites that don't get chosen? They don't win the awards. You're a Sylvester Stallone fan? He never won any Oscars and ain't going to. Well, the Academy has been known to give away some sympathy Oscars at, for people at the end of their careers when they close to being put in the ground, like a Henry Fonda, and it does happen. It happens. But yeah, you're not everybody's cup of tea. And subjective award shows like the Oscars and definitely the Grammys where the most popular person doesn't always win. Sometimes the most popular person does win, but they might be popular. They might be graded on their popularity different than what you're used to. What do you think? What's a tink? What's a tinking? But yeah, they don't always win. But sometimes you have to be grateful that you even got chosen in as far as being nominated. You got nominated. So yeah, you weren't everybody's first choice to win. But you got nominated. You got recognized. That may even be immortalization for you. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Oh, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious February 19th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. Look at the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Jessica Lewis. Jessica turning 42 years old today, and also Brittany Alexander turning 36 years old today, and S. Love Harris turning 51 years old today, and Pop G's happy birthday to you, and can't forget Nicole Taliba Muhammad turning 52 years old today, and Noreen Beecham turning 55 years old today. She's a very good Words with Friends player and word feud. She's a Scrabbleologist. And last but not least, my girl, Penn State graduate, Tiffany Bear Galati. Happy birthday to you. I'm going to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious February 19th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn rock out, rock on and do the damn thing, and do the thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. First day of Pisces. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen, just because you didn't get and chose first, it just because you wasn't like a starburst, it doesn't mean that you can't come first and somebody's heart, and you know, because you get picked from the start. I'm gonna do it over. Just because you didn't get picked first, just because you weren't like a starburst, just because you got into somebody's heart and you wasn't really picked number one from the start. I know that the art of love is a gift and you've been blessed with that shit. So don't act like you don't know just because it don't show that you was number one. But in your heart, son, you know that you're better than the rest of them. And you can be the best of them. And don't let nobody diminish your worth. You are number one. First. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another daily go-getterism show right about now. So I appreciate y'all coming through on a late night tip. I appreciate it. But make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. And make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So, you know what? Y'all probably didn't choose to come to this show first. You might have been like, let me see what these other shows are about. But hey, we landed here somewhere. I'll take it. I'm going to practice what I preach tonight. I'm going to holler back at y'all, man. Y'all be good. Be safe. I'll holler. All right.